Yo, 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 what is going on, everyone? How are we doing today? What is up? What is up? How are we? I am very pumped and excited to finally be here and alive for y'all. It's been a hot minute, to be completely honest with you. I was very, very ungodly sick. I don't think I've been that sick since I was a wee lad, a wee child, because, whoo boy, that was rough. I'm feeling so much better. Thank you so much for asking. Me and my girlfriend Amanda both, we both got sick with, we believe, obviously we're not fucking doctors, but we're pretty sure we got norovirus, which, if you're not familiar with that, it is essentially like 24 48 hours of just absolute pure death incarnate, if you can imagine it. It's a very contagious stomach virus with lack of being TMI, just to give you an idea. I was just fucking vomiting every 30 minutes, pissing out my ass. It was absolutely not good. My mic is kind of quiet. All right, hold on. Is that better? Is that a little bit louder? Is that better? So, it was fucking insane, to say the least. It took me a little while before I was able to recover, before we were even able to eat like solid foods, if I had to be completely honest with you. It was just absolutely awful. Absolutely God-wrenchingly awful beyond belief. I was not literally able to like keep any solid food down. I was not able to like even, as far as I was concerned, breathe. Let me see if I can fix my audio a little bit here. Yeah, I adapted like Maharaga would have. Exactly. That's what you got to keep in mind here. Ooh, that's not what I want to do. Might be the music that's too loud. Fair enough. Well, let's see here. Let me adapt this. Let's adapt as well. Is that better? That may or may not be better. Mic needs to be louder anyway. All right, that's much better. Okay, good. Sounding clean. All right, much better. Okay. But yes, no, I am feeling a lot better. Thank you very much. It was a lot. I'm finally able to eat some solid foods, finally able to drink, you know, things that isn't water or ginger ale and fucking Coca-Cola, all that shit. So, I'm doing a lot better. So thank you so much. So in reference to that, pushing on and moving forward, I haven't seen any of the new trailers. I haven't seen anything new that's come out. So I definitely want to go ahead and get into some of that today before we get into the actual chapter, while we wait for, you know, my energy to kick back in. Just feeling, you know, let's get back into it. Let's shake the rust off a little bit, huh? Hope you're having a nice day. Hope you're doing well. Have you seen the Gege drawing of Yuji yet? I did not. I think I might have. I saw the color that is on screen right now. The color page that's on screen. Let's check it out. Let's check out Miyamura's Twitter. He's probably got everything up here. Oh, they got the Higuruma Hiromi and Takaba showing up, as well as Reggie, which is interesting. I didn't think they were going to show up in part 1. That's actually a really interesting development that I saw last night. I did not think that they would be showing up in part 1. So the trailer, I guess, maybe it shows Yuji versus Higuruma. I did see Yuji in the theater. If you drink Coke in moderation, might be assisting in making you get sick. So I really don't drink Coke that often. I drank Coke while I was sick, to be honest with you, more so because it was like more of like the carbonation and the sugar syrup, they want to call it. I don't know, the corn syrup, whatever you call it. It coats my stomach, so it made it a lot easier for me to maintain things in my stomach without dying and immediately throwing it up. But yeah, so I didn't expect us to get that far. Seeing Kirara and Hikari doesn't surprise me at all. So we have the Jujutsu Kaisen season 3 trailer. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it at all, so I would be very interested to get into it here. Let's check it out. Why not? The fructose. Can you hear this? Does that? I hope it's loud enough for you guys to hear everything. I can try and raise the. Hey, Yuta hitting the JoJo pose. So many people were like, "What the hell? Why did he do that?" I'm completely okay with it. I think I'm completely okay with Yuta hitting the Gojo pose. Yuta's Bizarre Adventure. Alright, so that's all stuff that we've seen. So I've seen all of that mostly from the movie. Besides like the Hikari parts, right? Like that was definitely this is new of Yuji entering the fighting club, which is super sick. Hikari looks great. Green Kirara is a sin. It should have been pink. Now I'm okay with green Kirara. I think, you know what, that little color streak could have been quite literally anything. If you know Deborah isn't in the trailer, listen, we got to look for the Easter eggs now. Now that we have Modulo involved, we got to look for any Easter eggs we can possibly find. I'm telling you, when I watched that movie and I saw, I wonder why it was so dark. And I saw Mahito be like, I'll probably forget you, Yuji. I'm like, oh, you never forget him, Mahito. You're never gonna forget his ass. I already saw it. You can't hide it from me. I already saw it. Was that Gaku? That's Gaku Kanji. That's the Yaga death scene. You can't hide that from me. That's Gaku Kanji with his guitar waiting in the fucking alleyway for Yaga. Yep. You can't hide that shit from me. Hold on. We'll amplify. Let's enhance. Computer enhance. Let's amplify this. Hold on. Yeah, 100%. Without a doubt. Oh, and that scene before that was Kusakabe freeing Panda. Yep. So the one thing I will say is they definitely have so much more of an opportunity to make Yaga's death hit a lot harder in the season 3 anime, for sure, without a doubt. Because not that it happened so quickly, and it's such like an in-between chapter between the perfect preparation and Yuji and Megumi meeting up with the fighting club, and it explains how Panda gets out and gets released from prison and then ends up in the fighting club with Hikari and everything like that. And I say 80. And oh, watch your head. Yep, I knew you were gonna do that. You gotta be careful, girl. You're gonna take an eye out doing that. And it happens so quick. It happens in one chapter, and Gege is usually really good with pacing, but that just was not it. It happened too fast. You didn't have enough time to focus on it. So I think having like a whole anime episode or a good chunk of it dedicated to Yaga's death is a big potential fix for sure. Sorry you were late. It's okay. I was counting the minutes until you showed up. Yeah, forgot about. That's what I mean. Like, it's such a quick moment. It happens so quick, everyone forgets about it. But I think the anime, the like of things that the anime can definitely fix. He's a good girl, baby. I just don't want you to hurt your eye. You okay? Yeah, you okay. That's a fucking they left out the Hikari and Panda moment, but I guess that's fair because you don't want to know, I guess, what's happening when that happens. Here, you want your lamb? What? Oh, she's fine. Whatever she wants to do. Oh, well, she was no, she was fucking with this. She wasn't coughing. Oh, okay. Well, then whatever. Do we know where part one is ending at? I thought part one was ending right when Colony began, but I guess I could be wrong. Yeah, go ahead, get on the bed, baby lady. Here's your lamb. Go, kill. Get it. Did you hear about the first episodes airing at the same time and it being a 1 hour special or something? Does this mean both episodes got extended for the anime release? No, I think it was about they supposedly released two episodes. It didn't feel like it was 2 episodes worth in the movie theater, but yeah, no, because you have a whole 30 minutes dedicated to the Yuji versus Yuta, and then Naoya versus Choso, and then you have the whole moment where Choso and Yuki, Maki, they all meet up at Jujutsu High. So I guess it is 2 episodes worth. No, so they're probably just dropping the 2 episodes that came out in the movie as just the one hour special, which makes sense. Why would you split that into 2 episodes when pretty much almost everybody already saw it? There's no point. So yeah, so the first 2 episodes will probably be what was in the movie, and then they'll just get right into all the new stuff the week after, which I'm completely cool with. Part 1 will end most likely, again, if we're seeing Reggie Star, it's most likely going to end when Hana arrives to save Megami after Reggie. Or coldest ending to part 1 ever would be the end of would actually be the end of 173 when Yuta kills Druve. And that's just, and then like they reveal, and that's just the end of part 1. Oh, that was Maki versus Naoya. See, now this is how I want projection sorcery to look, baby. That looks super sick. I don't know if the same problem will be apparent when they did it in the first couple episodes, but I just felt like projection sorcery was so impossible to comprehend. But I know they do that on purpose as well, because Choso and Yuji don't know the technique that they're fighting against. So, hell yeah. So they're definitely getting to Takaba. So they're definitely getting to Megami versus Reggie for sure, without a doubt. If Takaba's showing up like that, yeah. This is definitely So this is when he's fighting the fucking helicopter, dude. Yeah, no, the jet. That's his jet girlfriend. Look, she's fucking slamming through the sky with her hair. Reggie Star explaining the bomb, and then this is Megami fighting Kirara when Kirara. My fucking boy, animated, man. I can't believe that, dude. I'm not ready. Unfucking real. Unreal, dude. I am hyped, to say the least. Absolutely hyped. All right, we got Hell's Paradise too. Listen, I love Hell's Paradise. I love Hell's Paradise, dude. Fucking Aza clapping fucking god cheeks, bro. Clapping Tengen cheeks. It's okay, dude. He's a boss. Dude, if you don't know about Hell's Paradise, I suggest you get on that shit. Hell's Paradise is peak. They didn't do that first season enough justice. It's one of my favorite episodes, one of my favorite series of all time, Hell's Paradise. It's so good. What are you doing? What's wrong? What's the matter? Did your toy fall? No? Why are you being ridiculous? What? Just lay down, baby. What's wrong? What's the matter? What's this, some sort of hell in a paradise? Yeah, pretty much. You okay? What's wrong? Why you whale-eyeing me? Why you whale-eyeing me? What's the matter? What? What? I'm kind of doing a show here. I'm kind of doing a show here, ma'am. What are you trying to tell me? You need your dew claw cut. What? What's wrong? Tell me what's the matter. Huh? What's wrong? Yeah. You just want attention? I can't give that to you right now. I've got to do my job. Are you sighing? Is that what you're doing? You're sighing at me? Oh, I know. I do love you, I promise. But I gotta do my job. I gotta talk about Jujutsu Kaisen. What do you know? Are you up to date? You caught up? I don't think you are. You're not able to read. I love you, baby. What? I gave you your toy. Here. You gotta lay down, Bubba. You gotta lay down. You do. All right. Sorry about that. Maybe I see she already went. She does not have to. She does not have to go. She just wants attention. She's begging for attention. She wants JJK season 3 now. Okay. All right. But that being said, yeah, if you haven't seen Hell's Paradise, get with Hell's Paradise. Hell's Paradise is great. Oh, they do have English subs here. Angel's curse technique can open the back of prison realm. Oh, that's Kenjaku when he's bringing Yuji's friend out of the colony. Dude, I know all of these scenes, man. Alright. Let's get into the Modulo chapter, shall we? That's what most of you guys are here for. Excuse me. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much. I hope everyone enjoyed my time with my Doge as well. I appreciate you guys dealing with me there. But let's get back into it, y'all. Shall we? Let's get back into it for sure. Let's lower this music here. Harley, why are you sitting behind? You such a... You crazy. I did not read Gege's message from Jump Festa. If one of you guys would be so kind to send it to me, I'd be more than happy to check it out. I'm also most likely gonna record this segment for you, Jesse, just in case this stream gets copyrighted. Modulo UG. All right, let's see what else. What else did Gege throw up here? I imagine I'll be able to find it all on here. Lengthy message from Gege. All right, cool. Jujutsu Kaisen Modulo began with a short-sighted idea of, if I'm doing a spin-off, wouldn't sorcerers versus aliens be interesting? So then, what are those aliens like? If I set the currently serialized content as the peak, what kind of story should we build within the limited length of a short serialization? Jujutsu Kaisen Modulo was born from being allowed to use time that would be normally spent on drawing and through trial and error while confronting modern issues. The anime is finally starting. Director Gosho Zono's direction, production, and sheer ability to ensure top-tier quality are just incredible. Of course, it's not just the director, but the talent and taste of the entire staff across every single stage of production. How old is Yuji now? I mean, realistically, he's probably around like 80, but like maybe age-wise, he might be closer to like 20, 25. Might be like some in-time shit where he just outright stopped aging at like 25. Zoro as Hikari makes sense, honestly. That's very cool. Of course, it's not just the director, but the talent and taste of the entire staff across every single stage of production are incredible, starting with Iwasaki Sensei. Jujutsu Kaisen is supported by many people, and you, the readers, are also one of them. I will continue to move forward without ever forgetting my gratitude or my original intentions. Gege is the king. Yeah, updated key visual is kind of cheeks. Is kind of not good. I will say, I do kind of not like this. Not good at all. Reggie's VA. I don't know anything that he's done, but I look forward to his work. Takaba's VA. Oh, well, they got well-versed motherfucker. A Jinzo from Yu-Gi-Oh! All right, Kirara's voice actor. Higuruma Hiromi is Joseph Joestar. Okay, Himajima. All right, bro. Peak Gintoki. And yeah, Zoro's voice actor. Wild. 110% Zoro's voice actor for Hikari. Did you say there was a UG drawing? Here we go. Last UG art by Gege and JJK versus latest UG art by in Modulo. Sheesh. Damn, no more smiles for this guy. Now we look up figure prototype. God damn, dude. This guy, dude. All right. We ready for this? I hope this isn't a situation like Usami from the original. Yeah, where he just never shows up. That's why he's drawing him now. Confused why on UG's immortal in the first place. I think it makes sense that he's ended up being immortal based off of the consequence of his birth, the consequence of him essentially being the full, like, I got a comment the other day that I disagreed with the person, but I didn't think it was like a bad comment or anything like that, and they're basically calling me out and being like, look, like, I hate when people say that Yuji's a death painting. Like, Yuji's not a death painting. Yuji is his own thing. And I guess that's true. Like, I don't necessarily disagree, although inherently I believe what Yuji is like, Yuji's meant to be the perfected result of what Kenjaku wanted the death paintings to always be, right? Like, Yuji isn't a death painting, right? But at the end of the day, like, Yuji is what Kenjaku wanted. That's why when referring to like people like Choso, Eso, and Kechizu, Kenjaku is like, you guys were failures, even though, you know, Choso is a resounding effort in and of itself, like with like being able to, you know, turn its energy into blood to supplement its blood manipulation and be the curse, half human, half curse hybrid that it is, and ultimately be recognized as a special grade cursed object, right? Like, Yuji is essentially just like the perfect end of the day, like, result of what Kenjaku was always looking for, the perfect vessel, the perfect hybrid incarnation that was able to achieve what Kenjaku wanted, using the Sukuna finger inside of him. Yuji did eat all of his remaining brother incarnations as well, which also adds to it, so that could have massively supplemented his lifespan, things like that. Also very important to keep in mind. What do I think happened to Angel? She might have died from old age. I think it's very important to recognize that, like, at the age that a lot of these characters were, like 60, 70, 80, like, it is genuinely not that insane for a lot of these people to, like, you know, kind of, you know, cap out. I mean, keep in mind, like, just because they're sorcerers don't mean like they eat right or don't mean they take care of themselves. Like, you think Hikari was taking care of himself in old age? You think Hikari wasn't at the slots drinking all those free martinis they gave him? You know, like, no, I don't even think they have slots in Japan, but you get what I mean, right? Like, like, just because, you know, they could just die from old age. I know everyone makes the joke that Megami died to a grade 3 curse, but if most people like Yuta and Maki probably died of old age and natural circumstances, if I had to imagine, especially considering the idea that no special grade curses emerged after Sukuna. The fact that no special grade curses emerged, like no special grade incidents of any nature emerged after Sukuna, is proof alone that most of these characters probably died to just natural causes. Whether they be, I mean, Yuka in and of itself is proof alone that sorcerers can just die of brain cancer, right? Like, and honestly, cancer isn't something you can be, you know, you can develop cancer later in life. You know, there's plenty of reasons to say why some of these people died. I think it's safe to assume that almost every single character died of a natural cause. Or just is old and retired like Nobara, where they're just not even relevant anymore in Jujutsu Society. They have nothing left to add because they're just retired. Same with, like, you know, Wiwi. Like, what are Nobara and Wiwi gonna do? They're so old, they can't compete with Nobara. Look at Gaku Kanji. Like, you know what I mean? Like, imagine Gaku Kanji was him back in the day, right? We don't know. We saw old man Gaku Kanji, but Gaku Kanji could have been him. I highly doubt it, but for just so I can make a point, all right? Let's pretend. Like, the sole reason that there were so many special grades to believe with, like Morningstar is saying in chat, is Gojo and Sukuna. Like, Gojo's birth spurred the amount of special grades that were going on in the world. Like, I think there's such a throwaway line in the Shibuya incident that I really hold to heart, and I feel like a lot of people don't, that they kind of falls off with a lot of people, which is, I haven't seen the Steel Ball Run trailer. I should check that out. I do have to still check that out. Naobito Zenin, one of the oldest sorcerers right now. Like, Naobito is about, like, what, 80 years old. Naobito is probably about where Nobara would be, right? where Maki was, where Yuta was. Like, that's probably the age, just about, maybe give or take another 10 or so years. Naobito Zenin specifically says when they're fighting Dagon that the very fact that a special grade curse is keeping up with 3, technically 2 and 1 potential grade 1 sorcerers at the same time is like fucking revolutionary to him. Like, it like, he is like, again, it's a very throwaway comment, but it shows you like how the fact that Dagon is keeping up with all 3 of them, even as a special grade, is for someone like Naobito, who has lived for 80 years, fucking like unbelievable and impressive. Because again, this man has lived for 80 years, has fought special grades before, and they have never been able to keep up with grade 1s like on this level before, which is, it's something that I specifically use when like I try to, a lot of people will say downplay, but I do try to stray away from just naming all of the strong characters in the series special grades. We'll get into the modulo chapter review, and I'm sorry, I'm yapping now, I do apologize. But like, it's the reason why I refrain from just naming strong characters special grade just because they have a domain expansion, or just because they can do this, or just because they kept up with this person. Because at the end of the day, it devalues what special grade is always meant to be. Like, Gojo as a person is just a character that can do so much more than anybody else in the series. The same is to be said with Yuki, and people like to fuck with Geto and act like Geto wasn't crazy. Geto is a character that was still able to launch all of Jujutsu Society into a war single-handedly. Sure, he had people like Miguel and stuff like that to help him, but even with just his curses, even if you took his curse family out of the equation, like, he still would have been able to keep all of Jujutsu Society into 2 separate, like, cities, and have them all wage war at once against just himself. Like, you can say that, like, you know, someone like Megami with his domain expansion is strong, or someone like Hikari with his, like, you know, immortal cursed energy for, you know, or unlimited cursed energy for 4 minutes and 11 seconds is strong, but like, they're not causing all of Jujutsu Society to be put into a war. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, for people that are like, oh well, you if you exercise a special grade curse, you're instantly special grade sorcerer. That is like the worst fucking like possible criteria that I have no idea where that even came from. And people bring that up constantly and can never show me the panel, page, or any fucking where that is said. But people swear that that's the criteria, and it doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. Because yeah, that's the criteria for being a grade 1, as Naobito even explains. But yeah, that was my little rant, neither here nor there. Let's get into the modulo chapter, guys. Thank you so much for dealing with me and all of the yap, all the nonsense, and thank you so much for waiting for so long to go through this chapter review. Genuinely, I apologize for being sick. I know that's not my fault, and I know I don't really need to apologize, but I'd like to stay up to date and be dependable source of information. So just know that I will always do my best to stay up and stay up to date on everything that I can always. So with all that being said, let me take my sip of this Gatorade, and let me get into this chapter, which it really isn't much to talk about because it's mostly hands, but said fuck us, stay healthy. A, appreciate that. Okay. All right. Okay. Let me go ahead and let's talk about this, y'all. So, like I said earlier, this chapter is mostly just showing us the 2 battles that are going on. And I don't know if any of you guys have seen the very specific title that these battles have been given, but according to Gege Akutami and Yuji Iwasaki, these are indeed the final battles of Jujutsu Kaisen Modulo. And that means for sure these will be some of the most critical moments and some of the best pieces of action that we will be getting throughout the very short series and the short story that honestly has captured my attention this entire time. It has been nothing but an uphill ride, and finally getting some great action like Maharaga going up against Deborah, as well as the second half of this chapter with Maru and Tsurugi. It's just beautiful. I am not only so excited to see what continues happening on the duel for humanity, but also to see more about Maru and Cross's curse technique that we get revealed to us very quickly by the end of this chapter. And I think one of the small bits of information that I do want to start on and focus on here is we really do see how much the Gojo clan, now that it is essentially a singular entity in Jujutsu society, is able to dictate so many different things in regard to the Jujutsu world around them. Because for whether you may deem good reason or bad reason, it seems like the way that Yuka Okotsu has been permitted to use her own curse technique has been heavily restrained, maneuvered and kept so low level. Now you could argue that there are multiple, perspectives here. Maybe this was a denominator by someone like Megami as, hey, we don't need to fight strong curse spirits anymore. We don't need to risk not only losing Shikigami that are critical to the mission, because something that is shown by the end of Jujutsu Kaisen, this is still a very controversial thing, I know, to say, but if you do believe that Megami doesn't have access to some of the shadows that have been destroyed by Sukuna, i.e. Nue, like he could have used in the final mission with the curse user at the last chapter of original Jujutsu Kaisen, using the 100-meter range to have the bird be able to scout for the person. Instead, they have to do the groundwork themselves. You potentially have Megami or someone from the old age saying that we shouldn't risk Shikigami being destroyed and we should only allow new Ten Shadows users to partially summon their Shikigami, something that we learned from Sukuna, to make sure we always have options like this Maharaga available for when we need them. Or this could be, as I said earlier, the Gojo clan just taking full political power and just doing things that they really don't need to do and limiting Yuka's ability to grow as a person and as a sorcerer even more than they needed to, because not only now do we learn that the ring was taken from her and said that she did not need it and she did not require that Tsurugi was a better fit for the ring, but on top of this we find out that the Gojo clan has just made the Ten Shadows technique just outright just a forbidden ability, which is just that we aren't really given a specific reason, so we really only can guess and assume. However, one interesting note that we do find is, even though Yuka immediately threw herself into the bottomless well at the moment of Maharaga's summoning, it seems like Maharaga either did the job or part of this death vow that Yuka has created actually did involve her just dying on summoning of Maharaga, because it seems like she is already in a state of suspended death. So whether Deborah lives, whether Deborah dies here, Yuka's death is already assured, unless, from what we find out on the other side of things, what Tsurugi potentially thinks of is if the Sumerians do actually leave Earth, they can void the exorcism ritual just as they null and voided the curse that was placed on Deborah's sister. And that is the point that Tsurugi is fighting for, to get the Sumerians to leave, not only to protect his way of life, but to make sure that the exorcism ritual that will kill his sister is never completely finished. Or, as we have seen before, unless someone interferes with the exorcism ritual and null and voids it a different way, which I have seen plenty of people assume that that may be Yuji's role in all of this, as acting almost identically to how Sukuna did previously and nulling and voiding the exorcism ritual with Deborah and Maharaga and Yuka himself. Regardless, the battle that we do get right now is, like I said, probably going to be the best action that we get in all of Modulo, and I'm more than happy with it. This is so reminiscent of the original Sukuna and Maharaga battle, but also at the same time, its own thing. It really does show how strong Deborah is, in a sense that he is just casually whipping his hand around. For all intents and purposes, Deborah is a Dragon Ball Z character now. I think we can without a doubt say that, and it's not going to seem weird. It's not going to sound, even though there already is a character called Deborah in Dragon Ball Z, like the way that he is just casually throwing hands with Maharaga across this entire city, flying, just throwing his hands around and throwing like energy volleys of his murderous intent combined with light, and supposedly all of this may actually be happening at complete light speed. If we ever do get a modulo animation, it's gonna be one of the coolest things that we've ever gotten. But something that also is extremely nice to see as well is Deborah's own thought process and understanding of Maharaga's ability, because a great warrior is not only strong when it comes to strength, a great warrior is also strong of mind. And we see this with someone like Sukuna, we see this with someone like Gojo, how they have to intelligently strategize and go back and forth with Maharaga's adaptation and find a way to overcome it while they're also fighting at the top of their game. It's safe to say that even though Deborah may seemingly be going, 50%, may have not really felt the need to enact any kind of bloodlust and really take this fight as seriously as possible, you can tell Maharaga's no easy opponent either. So I think it's very important now to see how strong Deborah is, and while people are going to continually argue tooth and nail until we get a direct comparison, I truly do think that Deborah has proven himself, just based off of this performance alone, as a pinnacle of strength in the Jujutsu Kaisen world. Now, another thing that I also think is very interesting that Modulo is answering is what happens when Maharaga does become this overpowered entity after adapting to Deborah, after adapting to this light. Does Maharaga, if it kills Deborah, is the exorcism ritual done? Everyone dies, he goes away? I'm pretty sure that's the idea. Because towards the end of the battle, you see here, or at least how my interpretation of it is, Deborah goes to kick Maharaga here, and you see the light murderous intent ability begin to shine and about to take off from his feet itself, which is one, super sick that Deborah can just unleash this ability from anywhere on his body. But I think the panel we get here of all of the light rays shining outwards as opposed to just outright just destroying Maharaga completely is because Maharaga actually quite literally reflected the light here. And that's what leads to Deborah realizing that, oh shit, this guy is actually adapting and getting used to my curse technique and getting better and better, because he legitimately is adapting and getting better. We know this because we know what Maharaga is doing, but Deborah is finding this out in real time. So now Deborah is quite literally just obliterating massive sections of multiple city blocks of the Inhuman Makio at this point, doing damage that has to be bare minimum comparable to, the 15-finger Fuga or like a stray, hollow purple. Like it is very clear that Deborah is capable of doing insane amounts of damage, capable to the pinnacle of Jujutsu Kaisen strength. And now that Maharaga is adapting to this, who is going to be the victor of this battle? It's unclear, to be honest with you. It's most likely going to fall upon two things. As I mentioned before, Yuji being the person to interfere, or at the very least someone else entirely interfering to stop the exorcism ritual and null and void it. Or you have Deborah actually revealing power that he hasn't before and outright decimating Maharaga, killing Yuka, and putting us in a moment of uncertainty of what are we going to do from here and how are we going to possibly win and survive. Or there's also the other side to this chapter, which is, as we know, Maru and Tsurugi's battle, because Maru and Tsurugi's battle is not just in regards to the Sumerian people staying on Earth. as we know, the main drive of Tsurugi here in this battle is making sure that his sister does not die today. Even though her brain tumor will kill her in potentially another day, another week, another couple of months, he doesn't think that Yuka should die in battle. He thinks she should die surrounded by friends in a peaceful setting. So that's what Tsurugi is fighting for, because he believes Deborah is the only one that needs to leave, as said before. However, we already know that Maru is not going to at all give this up, and Maru is fighting specifically with Cross's sword, a symbolic unity of what the brothers have fought for to get here in this moment. And now we see and get a little bit more information on Tsurugi's abilities as well, something that has been kind of trickled down to us, but now we just get outright confirmation that Tsurugi has essentially given up all of his own cursed energy for outright power. So not only is he like Toji Toji and Maki in the sense that his attacks and strikes are completely unpredictable with cursed energy, right? You can't just, like most sorcerers do, predict where the highest flow of cursed energy is going to come or where you think they're going to faint with. You actually have to adapt to their physical moves, which is not what every sorcerer or even aliens are dealt with, or used to, I should say. And on top of this, Tsurugi adds on to this something that Maki and Toji never really did. They completely could have, and they had curse tools of their own volition for sure, but the curse tools that they used never really had the kind of properties that Tsurugi took place of. Tsurugi and the sword that he uses is able to use a blazing inferno that ignites firestorms everywhere, which is not only great for empowering his blows for fire elements, he's also able to shoot a big, plume of fire smoke and then cut through that to completely hide his motions. There are so many different things that Tsurugi is capable of now, because not only is he fully maximized when it comes to physicality, he has a cursed object that for all intents and purposes does not run out of cursed energy either, meaning that Tsurugi's stamina is pretty much like almost close to extremely long. I don't want to say infinite or unlimited because it's not anywhere close to that. Tsurugi can get tired, obviously. We've seen it happen. But he is essentially maximized every facet of his fighting capability, which makes it almost impossible for Maru to not take him seriously. Because up until this point, we find out that Maru has been holding back. Just has been holding back completely. And the worst part about all of that is he remembers exactly what Deborah was feeling when Deborah fought Dora, that you just don't want any more of your friends to die. And even though Maru is fighting for his people here, even though Maru is doing everything he believes that needs to be done and is right and what he feels is what he staked his life on as a warrior, he still hesitates. However, now, as Tsurugi questions Maru's integrity as a warrior, saying that we are fighting for something now. We are fighting and there is a pact to this fight. And as he summons his simple domain maculation or whatever it's called, I forget, where it just summons the multiplicity of different simple domain spots, where he's able to basically do what Kusakabe did, but on an extremely higher level. Maru says, fine, you want to call out my integrity as a warrior? Let's go. I'll take you on completely and 110% with my full power. Let's see if you can handle it. And it's got to be one of the coolest moments in the entire fucking series here, because I'll rotate it here, where Maru's curse technique, at least we finally get a name for it. As we know, Maru and Cross's techniques are combined. They are one and of the same. As we know, twins are an omen. Whether that is on Earth or whether that is on Samuria, when it comes to sorcerers, twins' curse techniques are tied at the hip. They are essentially conjoined at the soul, whether they are conjoined physicality or not. And the reason for that, we already saw with people like Maki and Mai, and now we see that Maru and Cross do in fact share a curse technique. And it is called Chaos and Order, which is a beautiful fucking, name. But now that Cross is gone, it's completely possible that Maru wields all of this power himself. And we saw how devastating it can be when it was used against people like the first grade curse user at the very beginning of the series, able to turn water extremely boiling hot and then freeze it instantly and then crush that ice, or, you know, control anti-gravity, or control, you know, different directions and speeds. And it is ultimately an all-around overpowering and overbearing curse technique that Tsurugi is even caught off guard by, because the world itself seems to just turn and twist. And whether that is it's able to control the actual poles of the world itself, or the you know, the harmony and bounds of the cursed energy in the universe, who the fuck knows? I'm just saying random crap at this point, but I will just say it will be nice to finally get some better understanding of what this curse technique is actually capable of, because this might just be the you know, the deciding factor. I don't know if Tsurugi will be able to keep up with a curse technique of this level, and if he is, then sheesh, Tsurugi's got to be packing something that we just aren't ready to see yet. Because again, something that I mentioned last chapter that I think is wholeheartedly important to recognize before we do get the end of this series, if this truly is the final battles to come. Yuka wanted to be Yuta Okotsu, and Tsurugi wanted to be Maki Zenin. And it's, I think, important to think back and remember what these characters were most known for and what these characters accomplished in their original run in the main series, and wonder what the parallels will be for what these future selves, these future incarnations, as they so want to be, could potentially, you know, have in store for them. It could really go any different way. To be honest with you, I don't know if any of these battles will be able to be resolved amicably. I don't know if there's a good answer to any of these battles being done, because to be honest with you, Maru and Tsurugi's battle doesn't seem like it's going to end before Deborah and Maharaga's does. Deborah and Maharaga's is so much more climactic, so much more decisive, that I feel like Maru and Tsurugi's will just linger on for too long. But I could be wrong. Let me know what you guys all think. I would definitely be very interested to know what your full thoughts are on everything, because again, even though this was a mainly fight-based chapter, it's nice to see, because we haven't had too many combat sections in Modulo. And also, if this truly is the main final battles, obviously there could still be, you know, a big finale coming for the main story beats of the end. But if this truly is, you know, the climax of everything, I think this is hitting very well. But I'm always curious to know what you guys are wondering and thinking about. We do have a break next week for Christmas, and then we have a chapter 17, and then we have another break for the New Year's, and then we go back into regular scheduled chapter 18, and we go forward there. And Yuji and Gege have been pretty consistent on that, so I think we'll probably be riding this out until the end, y'all. Guys, that's the end of the chapter review. If you haven't already, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe. I love you all so much, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace. That is the end of the segment. That is the end of the segment. Stream is not ending, just a heads up. I know, you know, sometimes people get worried. Stream is not ending. That's just the end of the chapter review segment. And then let me send that all over to Jessie, so that way that's already good to go. She can get started on that. Bless her heart. And then we can kind of get into the more nitty-gritty moments of all of this. I want to poll the chat. I want to see what some of you guys are thinking about, what some of you guys are wondering about. Marlon Cross's jumping's got to be diabolical. Yo, for real. I don't think Mahito's going to play a big role. He might not. Yeah, the Yuji Mahito crumbs might have just been, you know, great red herrings, and I'm not mad about it. Generally not mad about it at all. By the way, guys, if you haven't already, please hit that like button. It helps the stream way more than you know. If you could hit the like button, takes 2 seconds. Appreciate it, appreciate it, appreciate it. Where are you from? I am from New Jersey. Start a poll. So let's see. Who wins? What do you guys think is going to be the result of Deborah and Maharaga? I'm very curious. I saw so many different opinions in chat. I'm genuinely very curious what you guys overall think the winner should be. Tsurugi's curse technique, or just the ability to manipulate cursed energy from curse tools, reminds me of a Star Wars character who could absorb the energy from first attacks and use that to use force powers. I want to get into the extended Star Wars lore. Honestly, I've been thinking about it big time. I've been on a big A Song of Ice and Fire binge myself recently, getting into a lot of that fucking deep lore that I'll probably never have any kind of satisfying fucking conclusion for whatsoever. But I kind of want to dip my teeth into sink my teeth into some Star Wars extended universe. I think with all the crazy Sith and Jedi, I think I want to get into it. Gotta be third-party intervention. True. All right, hold on. We have to change the poll. Bad poll. All right, hold on. We gotta do it again. Okay. All right, we're gonna do another one. But this one will have third-party intervention as an option. You're right. Intervention / draw. I guess I'll do interruption is probably better. Interruption / draw. All right, that's a better poll. That's a much better poll. Deborah is legit just moving different. Ishigori had the highest cursed energy output recorded on Earth, and Deborah is an outlier. Yeah, Deborah is something different, bro. I'm telling you, Deborah is moving like a Dragon Ball Z character. He really is. I literally meant what I said. Like, look at this destruction, bro. The Aurora Borealis over top is just, you already know if we get an OVA, we get a Jujutsu Kaisen Modulo movie, this shit is hitting. Listen, you already know. Ungodly. Like, look at this destruction, bro. Like, who else is doing this but Gojo and Suguna? I would love to know. So Jesse does want me to do a segment on Deborah. I want to compose my thoughts more. So I think what I'm gonna do, Jesse, if you are watching this, I think I'll probably focus my thoughts and I'll do a separate recording of Deborah. I think Deborah deserves more of like an actual like a close eye, because if I could say, I could very easily yap about Deborah and say the wrong thing and people will get very upset. So I feel like I need to be very careful about my understanding of where Deborah sits on the power scaling system here. Is Deborah's curse technique legit just light manipulation, or is it curse energy manipulation turned murderous? So, from what I understand, Deborah's curse technique is, it seems like Deborah's curse technique is actual murderous intent given form, and then on top of that, Deborah is also able to manipulate light itself. If I had to just fully understand that. So if Deborah is able to manipulate light as well as his murderous intent given form, I think what essentially he combines those two to make the actual, so light itself is not physical, right? Light itself is just fucking light. So I think what Deborah does is Deborah is able to create light, which is what we see him do, right? Where he makes the big giant light beams that show up in his hands, and then by using his murderous intent, he can then give that light form and use it as attacks. So essentially, yeah, he's imbuing. I would say it's the exact opposite, Donnie Dawson. I would say it's actually he's imbuing the light with his murderous intent. I could be wrong. Keep that in mind. That is just completely 110%. I'm trying to look at the panel again right now, but that is just completely 110% my complete interpretation. I could be wrong. Take it with a grain of salt. But yeah, blank is murderous intent given tangible form, a concept impossible for Earthlings to even describe in words passed down through the Discante tribe. It is that and light. Deborah Karaba's curse techniques are blank and light. Given tangible form. So I think he's literally able to just combine the two techniques together. He could be adding mass to the photons of light itself. Exactly. There you go. There's probably a much better scientific explanation that someone would be able to give you. But there's no doubt light involved, just based off of, like I said here, you have what I described as Deborah throwing one of those light volleys right into Maharaga, and this time, instead of Maharaga getting blown up by it, Maharaga literally just reflects it all into different fucking areas. They might as well, to be honest with you, for all intents and purposes, they might as well just be plasma cannons, right? Like this might as well, like, you may as well just consider this like Deborah throwing around energy volleys. This is what I mean, like, when I'm like, Deborah may as well just be a Dragon Ball Z character. Like, I literally, like, I wouldn't look at this as anything simpler as, like, Deborah is literally just casting, like, plasma hand cannons. Like, just fucking, like, full on, you know, energy light volleys that would just, as we see. Do I have any of those panels? Dude, Maharaga is getting obliterated in some of these panels here, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, Maharaga is getting decimated in some of these panels. We don't know about Deborah's durability though. Yeah, we really don't. As for you know, like, do we think, like, is Deborah actually trying here? I think it's very clear that Deborah is putting about as much effort as he feels is necessary, right? Like, do I think Deborah has shown his full power? Absolutely not. Not anywhere close to begin with. If I had to guess, like I said, at maximum, like, Deborah is throwing about maybe like 50% of his power right now. Like, probably every attack that Deborah throws is getting progressively stronger and has more intent behind it, simply because the first attack was most likely like, oh, because you, let me go back. Let me see if I can find that panel here. Like, you do have Deborah kind of somewhat surprised to see Maharaga's summoning here. So, Citizen Kip, that's actually funny that you asked that, because that's something that I probably should have included in the review. But it's actually, that's actually one of the things that Deborah even comes to a conclusion about in the middle of the battle. Like, Deborah immediately uncovers that this is not a Callian, like, the moment he, like, just starts fighting Maharaga for a couple moments. Like, it's one of the deductions that he actually makes in the middle of the battle. He goes, oh, this isn't some kind of, you know, cursed energy spirit on. It's not also not a cursed spirit either. It's not the same. Like, he is able to fully make that understanding on his own. It seems like when he first does this first attack, right? Like when he first does this attack on Maharaga, you can see that this should have been more than enough to kill Maharaga. You can fully see that completely, without a doubt. If Maharaga did not adapt here, he would have died. It's the same thing like you could say like, oh, like when Arame was fighting Hikari and oh, Arame has no feats. The very fact that Arame is capable of like blowing off Hikari's arm and like almost and putting Hikari into a lethal state is proof enough. Like I don't think when I got a lot of people that were mad at me here when I said that Deborah essentially one-shot Maharaga here. And like, does Maharaga survive? Yes. He adapts and moves on. But is it also important to note that like if Maharaga wasn't adapting, this would have been a one-shot, right? Like just because we have characters that have the abilities to survive lethal attacks does not make those attacks not lethal. Like that's not an anti-feat for Deborah to not kill Maharaga here. Just like it's not an anti-feat for Malevolent Shrine, 15 Fingers Sukuna's Malevolent Shrine to kill Maharaga, right? Like like I think that's a very important thing too. Like just because the 15 Finger Malevolent Shrine didn't immediately destroy Maharaga doesn't mean the 15 Finger Malevolent Shrine has an anti-feat. Sukuna even makes an important distinction that the only way to kill Maharaga is to shoot, if Maharaga has time to adapt to the first barrage, is not that strong of a barrage is what I'm feeling. No, yeah, well, I feel like Deborah would have been able to just accurately pinpoint how strong of a barrage he needed to just kill Maharaga at once. Like the thing that's also important to distinguish as well that Sukuna says is even if you attack Maharaga with an ability that's strong enough to kill it, Maharaga is most likely going to adapt. You have to be able to not only destroy it with enough of an ability to kill it with the first blow, you then have to be able to deliver a second blow that is just as strong from a different ability before it can adapt and fully heal. So Deborah's big mistake here, right, was Deborah not instantly using his second ability or instantly using a second attack to finish Maharaga off here. I think that's most likely what it is. Like if Deborah had fucking like been like, all right, kick the fucking light and it blew up and just like vaporized Maharaga, that would have been it. But because Deborah pretty much just was like, all right, that was it, I killed him, that was it, Maharaga was left alone and was able to adapt completely. So again, the attack would have killed Maharaga, but Maharaga adapt. Maharaga was full HP when Fuga one-shot him? No, because you have to remember, Maharaga was like literally pulling himself from the fucking brink, like just barely repairing himself from Malevolent Shrine when Sukuna shot Fuga. Sukuna specifically shot Fuga just as Maharaga was beginning to pull itself back together from Malevolent Shrine. Because that's what he says. He goes, if Maharaga had either adapted to dismantle or it adapted to all of my slashing techniques. Even if it adapted to cleave, it would still need some time to recover from this attack. And then right when Maharaga is like, it's like pulling itself together and healing, that's when Sukuna goes, all right, Fuga, by the way, and then fucking hits that shit. I'm starting to think that you know, you need to take Maharaga to the brink of death and then nuke it, basically. Yes, exactly. Maharaga is tanky as hell. But purple, I guess, was full hollow purple then. I'm not sure, to be honest. Maybe it's just strong enough attack. I think just based off of the nature of hollow purple might have been able to just like eviscerate Maharaga without leaving a trace behind. Like, I think that's most likely the difference. Whereas like Malevolent Shrine, I don't know. You know, I that might just be the nature of purple in and of itself compared to like the attacks. I mean, also you do have Gojo versus Sukuna. Gojo does say that I think that I have a much better curse technique than you. One of my favorite moments in that fight. But like I said, the actual display of power from Deborah is insane. I think a lot of people Purple one-shot Maharaj didn't take multiple tries. If Light Beam's all Deborah has and he isn't part of the strongest. Well, the thing is that I would disagree with Morningstar is, again, also the nature of the attacks. Like, also consider the difference too, right? Like, Gojo fully understands what Maharaga is capable of. Fully understands that if he doesn't fire a purple that's powerful enough to completely obliterate Maharaga in one shot, Maharaga will just adapt to purple and then he's cooked. So I think it's also important to distinct, like, Gojo is also operating with much more knowledge and understanding of that he needs to just erase Maharaga completely and kill it and be done with it, whereas Deborah, again, doesn't understand what he's up against. Deborah threw this first volley of attacks just based, again, just thinking that it was a regular curse spirit. I mean, he basically just impaled it from every angle. And also you can see Deborah making the same mistakes throughout the entire fight. Deborah is not completely eviscerating Maharaga. So I would argue that, like, yeah, Deborah is definitely making mistakes in the battle, but I think it's also important to recognize that Gojo also has the back end knowledge of, you know, I've got to destroy this thing in one shot or I'm cooked. Yeah, Deborah testing Maharaga was his mistake. Deborah not just outright completely destroying Maharaga and leaving no trace behind was the mistake, 110%. So it's like a matter of, like, I wouldn't say you're wrong. I definitely wouldn't say you're wrong, but I would 110% say that, like, I think there's definitely differing factors in this. Like, if Deborah is revealed to not have an attack that's comparable to Hollow Purple and Fuga, that wouldn't surprise me, and then I wouldn't really, you know what I mean? I wouldn't really fight too hard, but yeah, I definitely think it's important to recognize, like, Deborah could still for sure have something up his sleeve that he's like, all right, well, I guess you guys will be able to see something great. Because keep in mind, this is a Deborah who started this battle off by saying that if you guys don't have anyone worth a fight, I'm not even going to be able to show my full strength. And we know Deborah holds back. We know Deborah holds back. I think even Dora said himself that Dora was the only person that ever knew how strong Deborah actually was, because Deborah literally never uses his full power. He has, like, quite literally never had, like, a reason to use his full power. So it makes sense that part of his downfall would be, and not for other than that plays right into the whole Mei Mei Wee Wee thing, right? The whole Wee Wee thing that Wee Wee said to him before the fight started. You know, this battle will be able to heal your loneliness. This battle will be able to heal the thing that you've never been able to do. You'll actually finally be able to go all out in a fight for once here. And Maharaga may be the person to do that for you. Because again, Maharaga's great because Maharaga can just adapt to any opponent that it fights. Like, Deborah is like an extraterrestrial anomaly, but Maharaga just adapts to that shit. There's been a concerning lack of mentions from any kind of domains. Yeah, no, with domain expansions is something that we haven't really seen at all completely. This is Crane art, by the way, if anyone was wondering, the artist for this artwork. Absolutely beautiful art, by the way. Get me Deborah fucking starts summoning a light sword, like, oh my god, he starts summoning summon swords like Virgil. Bro, he'd have my heart, for real. They might have maximum techniques. I fully believe that. It doesn't surprise me that sorcery would develop completely differently on other planets, right? Like, the concept of barriers may be something that Jujutsu sorcerers develop to keep themselves away from cursed spirits and keep cursed spirits out, right? Like, if you think about it, Japan and Japanese spirits and yokai, you've always had, even in like real life, like and occult and stuff like that, and like mythology, you have like talismans and protective barriers, you have like the salt rings and stuff like that, right? So, but whereas in Sumeria's culture, you know, the Kallions, at least for Lumerians, the Lumel tribe, are like, you know, worship beings. The cursed spirits aren't the same thing on like Sumeria as they are on Earth. So it makes sense that barriers are something that Jujutsu sorcerers would develop, whereas barriers may not have been something that, you know, instead of playing Death Jenga, yeah, literally. He should have just Jacob laddered Maho with the first attack. Yeah, you know what? Well, again, I think that plays perfectly into what we said, right? Where, you know, this will be a fight that's able to cure your loneliness of being the strongest. Deborah has never felt the need to go all out, which will be his undoing in this fight. The fact that he has never felt the need to go all out is exactly what Maharaga, the exact kind of opponent that is the worst opponent for Maharaga, because the longer you fight Maharaga, the better and better Maharaga is going to get. So honestly, the humans did play their fucking their best possible card here. I will say that they did play the best possible card they could have. So with 81 votes, we've got, first of all, 81 votes, 38 likes. The disparity is crazy to me. I'm just kidding. Well, I'm not kidding, but I'm crazy. I'm just Josh here. This is true numbers, but who wins? Maharaga 70%, Deborah 39%, interruption and draw 44%. Yeah, 44%. But you know, interruption and draw makes the most sense. Most people got Deborah on the win. Only if you want. No, you don't have a choice in the matter. You have to like it or I ban you. I'm just kidding. I can't see that. Although, that's a feature I would suggest to YouTube. Just to keep you guys honest. But yeah. You hear me out? Deborah and his sister are the reincarnations of Sukuna and Arame. Deborah and Sukuna are both looking not for using their full power, and Deborah got the hots for a chef. Ha! You know, it's so true. So true. He did get the hots for a chef. Listen, we should have just went with the political marriage. Why did we even play games with this point? We should have just went old school medieval. We should have said, look, this chef, I'm sorry, we give the family, like, you know, $5 million, 10 million yen, whatever the equivalent is, you know, we take care of their generations for life. You guys are, you know, permanent, you know, treasures of the Japanese government for life, for every generation of your family. And you guys just got to give up your daughter to this alien, this alien Satan, you know. It's only fair. Do it for humanity. All the motherfuckers out here, all right? All the motherfuckers out here in the chat be talking about, fuck these aliens. Get off my planet. The Sarugis, all right. Fair. Give up your daughter. Give it up. Give up the daughter for humanity. This is what you wanted, right? You wanted to save humanity? Fuck these aliens? Here we go. This literally, we are indeed gonna fuck these aliens, all right? Let's see if we can't coexist anymore then. See how many of you motherfuckers are like, oh shit, you know what? You know, maybe those aliens ain't so bad. As long as they drink from their water fountain. Let me stop. Because I feel like when I get into these fucking jokes, people aren't gonna realize that I'm kidding. Listen. I'm just saying. Deborah, I think, is him. I think Deborah has given us enough to show that he is, in fact, a him contender. Like, bro, this cursed spirit tried to kill me, son. Like, bro, honestly, I was a fan and I was of sound mind. We should have just gave them Tokyo to begin with. Let them have the inhuman Makio. Why do we need it? We don't. And you know what? I think they would have found out real quick that the Kallions weren't cursed spirits. I think when they realized that the cursed spirits were just going to start eating them, the Sumerians probably would have been like, oh, fuck, dude, they're about to fuck us up. Like, maybe we shouldn't. And like, we could pull up right at the moment and be like, we told you. See, yeah. All right, let's go. Let's round them up, boys. Let's go. We'll work together. You know, we'll clean up overtime because we got double the manpower now. See, that could have been so easy. Citizen Kip in the chat said, cause it's ours. I'm not giving up what's mine. We ain't seen you around these parts before, boy. I don't know who told you you come in here. It's a terrible, terrible country accent. Terrible country accent. Best go back the way you came. What if curses don't even attack Sumerians, though? That Sumerian looked like it was about to get a fat piece of Osuki's fucking head, bro. That curse spirit looked like it was got to get a nice big gulp of some Lumel. I think Giga gave us a hint in the chapter of what's about to happen. Yeah, I think so too. I think someone acting as a deterrent, I think, is the most obvious answer here, because that keeps everyone alive. Maru and Tsurugi are able to, you know, or Cross heals himself, gets healed in the perfect time and interrupts. No, I'm not getting the country VA gig at all. That is not me at all. I am awful when it comes to impressions. I cannot do them. I'm so bad. But I feel like even Cross was like, dude, these aren't Kallions, right? Even Cross said that they weren't Kallions. So I don't know, but I feel like we should have just gave them Tokyo. Should have let them figure it out for themselves, and we could have taken it from there, checked up in like a week and been like, hey, you guys understand you fucked up, right? And we all would have been fine. It was cope. I don't know if it was cope. Right? I don't think it was, because I'm pretty sure it's outright stated specifically. If I'm not crazy. Hold on here. Fuck. I fucked up the music. Even Cross says as much. He goes, look, it disappears when it dies. It's not a flesh and blood spirit. Like, Kallions are like, they're siblings. They're not like, it's kind of like Hanami. Like, Hanami was like more of a natural spirit than it was a cursed spirit at the same time because of what it was. That's why I was able to slip through the barrier of the exchange event. Stuff like that. Like they're like a sister spirit. They're not the exact same thing, but they're similar but different. Like, you can, again, I think the biggest indicator was what Cross said, where he's like, look, they disappear when they die. They're made of the Earthlings' cursed negative energy that spill from them. Whereas Kallions are naturally occurring beasts with cursed energy and spiritual control on the Sumeria planet. I think they're just siblings. They're like cousins, very close cousins. Thoughts on the Yuji Kallion theory? I honestly love it that Yuji has inadvertently become exactly what the Sumerian people have worshipped. It makes sense. Yuji would fit the bill. You know, he's a flesh and blood, but technically speaking, at this point, maybe has become more cursed than man. Who knows with the amount? Who knows if he's eaten more cursed objects over the course of this history? We don't know. I love the idea that Yuji went traveling across the world to just eat all of the cursed objects he could, feeling like it was his goal to just eliminate curses. Something that I thought was legitimately like very integral to Yuji's character that I wish I would have added to the whole villain Yuji theory a little bit more was it's throughout all of Jujutsu Kaisen, and even in like outside Jujutsu Kaisen, like even in like Phantom Parade and stuff like that, like Yuji constantly asserts his role of existence. His whole reason for existing is to eliminate cursed spirits. If there's anybody that would not be okay with fucking if there's anyone that would not be okay with curses, like being left alive to thrive as a population, it's Yuji. All right, Yuji would be like, Samaria, fuck you, I exist to kill all these things, and I'm killing them all until in my last dying breath. Tengen also fits the theory as well. Yeah, Tengen also fits the theory as well too, Jesus. Say that they are transcendent cursed spirits, or was that some fan theory? I think that was a fan theory. I don't think it was stated anywhere specifically. Why the fuck did Cross and Maru Loki switch personalities? I don't think they switch personalities. More or less, I think Maru has just Maru was always the more, you know, gung-ho one. You see that a little bit in their flashback. Maru was the first to throw hands with Dora. Maru was the first to interrupt the duel with Deborah and get mad at him, and I think Maru just hides it better per se. Maru now feels like he has to step into a role that he doesn't more or less want to be in also at the same time. Like Maru is also now putting himself and making himself fight for things that he feels like he should rather than he feels like he has to. But alrighty, as it goes, I mean, I really don't have too much else to say on this chapter for the most part. Like I said, I will probably be doing a Deborah segment separate from this. That will probably, I mean, we'll have a break week next week, so this week coming up. So it'll be good of a chance to kind of step back, kind of assess all of the information that we have been given over the course of these 16 chapters and just really kind of hit home what we can on some of the characters that we have here. Because I've got to say, despite Jujutsu Kaisen Modulo's cast being a lot smaller, I enjoy a lot of the main characters in it. I think they've all served their purpose really well. Do I think that, you know, all of them are my absolute favorite? You know, no, none of them are my favorite. But, like, still, Yuka's a cool character, Tsurugi's a cool character, Maru and Cross are cool characters, Usami's the GOAT, Deborah is the GOAT. I enjoy all of them. Crazy how Christmas is 24th to 26th now. Yeah, well, give everyone their due. Everyone deserves the Christmas break. You should not get the Christmas break just because, you know, You don't fall exactly on Christmas. Anyway, y'all, if you want to join the Discord, please feel free to join the Discord. That's a link in the chat. Please join the community. We talk Jujutsu Kaisen. We talk, you know, Modulo. We talk Gachiakuta, Dan, all the series, Kagurabachi, Chainsaw Man. We talk everything, bro. We talk all the good stuff. So join the Discord if you would like to join the community. Again, link is in chat. Just posted the invite link. And yeah, guys, as far as it goes, sorry again that I missed these spoilers in this chapter, but yeah, where do you read Gachiakuta? We could talk about that. We could talk about that in the Discord. We don't talk about that. We don't talk about that out here. Those are whispers best left, you know, laid in other places. But anyway. The official release, K-Manga, Kodansha. Yeah, guys. Genuinely, I love you all. I appreciate you guys all hanging out with me. Again, we will be better for the future, but if I don't see you, I hope you have a good holiday. Also, obviously, not for nothing, if you are interested whatsoever, please, you know, subscribe to the second channel, because if I do any other streams while we're on break, that's probably where they'll be. So check out the main channel as well. That link is also in the chat. Join the Discord, like I said, if that sounds like something interesting to you. And yeah, guys, we're gonna go ahead and call it this time. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Helps the stream and the chat and the channels and all the good stuff way more than you know. And most importantly, I hope you all have a good rest of your days, because you're all great people. Thank you for watching. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Helps the stream way more than you know. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.